In Visual 2012, you can view and dynamically edit the properties of any object in your design environment. If your selection includes multiple instances of the same type of object, you can edit the shared properties of all the objects in your selection simultaneously. This is a powerful way to investigate and edit your design. The Properties panel shares the sidebar with the Layer Manager and the Statistics Summary at the right side of the design environment. To edit the properties of an object, click the Properties button from the Home tab in the ribbon bar. The Properties sidebar will be displayed, so you can select an object to view and edit its properties. After you select the Properties command, you can start selecting objects. The Properties command remains active after your initial selection, allowing you to continue selecting objects. When you select multiple objects, the Properties panel will display all common properties of the selected objects. If you select different types of objects like a luminaire and a calculation zone, then only the Layers drop-down will be displayed to allow you to change the layer of the selected objects. If you select an object by mistake, you can remove the object from the selection by pressing the R key for remove and then selecting the unwanted object. Notice the selected objects count will decrease on the status bar. To return to adding objects to your selection, press the A key for add and continue selecting objects. If you want to select all the luminaires in your project, you could select them individually, but that may take a long time. A better way to select all your luminaires would be to use selection filters. Selection filters appear in the Properties tab of the ribbon bar and allow you to choose the types of objects that can be selected. If you turn off all other objects except luminaires, you can use a window selection to select all the luminaires. If you are having trouble selecting other objects in a selection later, remember to check your selection filters. They will always stay set on your previous filter set, and you may not always want that behavior for your next selection. Luminaire properties include layer, Luminaire Type properties, position properties like aiming, insertion point, and mounting height, and display properties. Using the Layer drop-down, you can change the layer associated with the selected luminaires. Luminaire Type property allows you to change the type of the selected luminaires. To change the luminaire type, select a new type from the drop-down list. Each luminaire type is displayed with its symbol, label, quantity, and catalog number. When you select a new luminaire type, this change is immediately reflected in the design environment. Below the drop-down, a candela plot of the currently selected luminaire type is displayed to help you identify the correct luminaire type. Position properties show the details of where a luminaire is and where it is aimed. You can change the aiming point, insertion point, mounting height, orientation, and tilt from this section. If you select multiple luminaires, the aim point and insertion point fields may change to show a parenthesis with an ellipsis inside of it. This symbol indicates that these values are not the same for all the luminaires in your selection. You can change values for all selected luminaires by entering a value. You can reselect a single luminaire by right-clicking in the design environment to end the Properties command, which will unselect all objects, then right-click again to restart the properties and select the desired luminaire. The display properties allow you to toggle the visibility of aim lines, photometric webs, and the location of luminaire labels. Calculation zone properties are grouped into Layer, General, Point, Display, Calculation, and Calculation parameters. Using layer properties, you can change the layer associated with the calculation zone. In general properties, you can rename your calculation zone, view its area and center location, and change the calculation point spacing. Calculation point properties allow you to change the point color as well as set lower and upper limit highlight colors. You can also change whether limits are a dynamic value or represent specific value point thresholds. Changing the decimal will change the number of decimal places displayed for the values. You can also choose between 6 different calculation point styles. From the display properties, you can toggle the visibility of points and contours, or turn on pseudo-color shading for the calculated grid. Calculation type properties let you change the type of zone and the measurement calculated. Calculation parameter properties allow you to change the direction of your calculation point normals, which is the direction a light meter would be facing if it was located at the calculation point. When creating calculation zones on surfaces, it is sometimes necessary to flip the normal of the calculation zone. Using properties is an easy way to accomplish this. Selecting a room or structure will display layer, general, coordinate, and surface properties. These object types are made out of joined surfaces, so you can select the room first and then view the properties for each surface in the room by selecting the surface from the Surface Properties table. In General Properties, with a single surface selected, you can edit the name, reflectance, and transmittance of each surface. You can also flip the direction of the surface's normal and view the surface's area. The Coordinates property window displays the coordinates for each corner point of the selected surface. Using the Properties command is a great way to inspect or modify your design. Changes to a property of a surface or a luminaire in the sidebar are immediate, providing you with feedback on your actions. If you have questions about properties not answered in this video, contact support@visual-3d.com. For more videos, visit visual-3d.com. Or when you select an object name in the Design Manager.